Hey guys, it's me, it's Tamika TTC, and I'm here in my robe today, and I'm here to do a different kind of vlog. Alright, so as you know, I follow a lot of you ladies, and one of the first ladies that I started following on YouTube when I became obsessed with being a single mom by choice, and YouTube, is Arlette Hardy. So she's done a number of things, and actually I was just watching another video, Mama Bear, and I watched her video where she did a trying to conceive tag that was inspired by Arlette Hardy, and so she inspired me. I will link both of their tag videos below, but I felt like I'm at a point where I should maybe do this too. Now, there's a bunch of questions, so this may be a long video, but I'm long-winded anyway. If you're following me, you already know I'm long-winded, and just expect the video to be long. Okay? Okay. Alright, so this is Single Mom by Choice, trying to conceive tag. Alright, here we go. So the first question is, what is your name? Well, my name is Tamika. How old are you? I'm currently 37. I will be 38 in April. And today, by the way, is, well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been asleep all day. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, so it's officially October 15th, 2017. I am 37 and will be 38 in April. When did you know you wanted to become a mom, and when did you decide to do it on your own? Well, my previous video, well, not my previous, well, yeah, in a previous video that I will link up here, I talked about my decision to be a single mom by choice and what has led to that decision. But to answer the question here, in a much shorter format, is I didn't always want to be a mom. However, I did always want to experience pregnancy. So, you know, people have suggested, why don't you become a surrogate? And then thinking about that, I was like, if I go through all of that, I want something I can keep, you know. But I didn't always want to be a mom. I've been an auntie since I was 7, so I've been around little kids and babies for a very long time. And, you know, it makes you tired. So, but when I was 26, as I explained in the linked video, I experienced a medical condition, and the physician that I was with at the time put a bit of a timeline on my childbearing years, so I had to give it some actual thought, and at 26 decided that I wanted to be a mom. I definitely wanted to be a mom. So, as far as doing it on my own, I've been talking about it since the age of 30, and made a decision to actually move forward initially at my 35th birthday. I probably made that decision while I was 34, but then, or maybe at 33, I think I gave myself 2 years. And then for my 35th birthday, I realized I hadn't gone to Italy yet, and then so I pushed that off to 36. And then, you know, if you've been following my channel, you know that last year in December, I lost my sister. So she became ill shortly after my 36th birthday, and I spent a lot of my time and life taking care of her and her daughter, or I should say supporting her and her daughter during that time period. So that kind of took over my 36th year, and with my 37th birthday, after all of that experience, I made it a goal and requirement to get pregnant by the end of 2017. I still have a few months. We'll see how it goes. All right. How long have you been trying to conceive? So, officially, I started my preconception testing in May of this year. So this is May of 2007. I've since had 2 IUIs. My first IUI was in June of 2017. So it's October. So it's at 6 to 10, 4 months. This is month 5. So about 4 months now. 4 or 5 months. How long will you try before you take a break or give up? So, again, if you've been following my videos, I've recently taken a break with my last 2 cycles, so cycle 3 and cycle 4, in an effort to lose some weight to do IVF. But if you saw one of my previous videos, which I will also link up here, I recently won 4 free vials of sperm. So my IVF journey will be pushed off for additional IUIs thanks to the free sperm. So I had that break. As far as giving up, well, I will, given some things that I will answer in some questions coming up, I've decided that I can only incur so much financially before I would either have to take an extended break or just stop trying. My initial thoughts on that, and my thoughts are the same as of now, is to, do a few IUIs. I was giving myself 3 IUIs, and then I would move to IVF. And then if IVF did not result in a successful pregnancy, then I would officially stop. And the reason for that is IVF is pretty expensive, and I'm already attempting to be a single mom by choice, which is going to be expensive because it is just my income and no one else's. Right now, I do not want to go into a lot of debt. I can't bring myself to go into a lot of debt, so much debt that it is then difficult for me to care for a child on my own. So I essentially am only willing to go through, I want to say 1 IVF cycle, but I don't want to limit it to a number of IVF cycles. I'm just going to say that I am only willing to go into debt about $25,000 to $30,000 in an attempt to have a baby. If that means 1 IVF cycle or 2 IVF cycles, whatever that means, that's the only amount of debt I'm willing to go into at this point in life, because I have student loan debt, I have, a mortgage, and I have to afford all these things on my own already. So, my car is old, so I may very well have a car note in the near future, in the next couple of years. So I just didn't want to incur too much debt. Could I save money? I could. I have a pretty good salary, and that is funding my IUIs right now. But IVF is a bit of a different story, and that's a lot of money up front. And I'm just not willing to break the bank on multiple IVFs in an attempt to have a baby. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and things happen in God's time. And if it's meant for me to have a baby with or without IVF, it will happen. If I don't have a baby after IVF, maybe that's the universe or God saying, not right now, the situation's not right. And that's when I would officially take a extended break on trying. That's not to say that if IVF doesn't work for me and at some point I find someone, that I would not try with them as well. All right, next question. Does everyone in your family and friends know that you're TTC? Short answer to that is no. everyone doesn't know. I am pretty much an open book. But I am also a pretty private person. So I'm one of those people who, if you ask me the right question, you'll get the answer. But I'm not one to sort of broadcast my entire life. So there are certain members of my immediate family that I just don't interact with, and so they don't know. So my brother, I should say my youngest brother, because I have two brothers. The oldest one I'm not in contact with. Families are very complicated things. I'm not going to go into it here, but I am not in consistent contact with my older brother. So I am the youngest of my family. So my youngest older brother, he knows that I'm trying, and I believe he's subscribed to me. My mother does not know. I have a sister on my dad's side who does know. I have another sister who has the same mom. I'm not in constant contact with her either, so she doesn't know unless somebody's told her. My aunt on my mom's side, so my mom's sister, she knows, and I think my cousin, who's that aunt's daughter, she knows, and I have a number of friends and a few coworkers who know. I'm not ashamed to be TTC. It's just, I'm a private person, so I just don't put all of my business everywhere. So it's not like I'm broadcasting it on Facebook or anything like that. I know I have the YouTube channel. I have not broadcasted my YouTube channel on any of my social media outlets, because those are sort of my personal social media outlets for people that I know, to keep in contact with people that I grew up with, went to school with, or what have you. But it's not for me to put all of my personal business out there. I don't do that in my everyday life, so I'm not doing that here. Those who find me on YouTube here are interested in the TTC journey, and they find me by either my comments on other videos or through videos, a search of videos on like keywords and whatnot. So in that respect, everybody doesn't know. There are a few immediate family members who know, only because I talk to them on a regular. Everyone that I don't talk to, either intentionally or unintentionally, then they don't know. And I have some friends who know. Was everyone supportive of your decision to become a single mother by choice? I have not received any negative reaction at all. Like, not a single one. I think early on, talking about using a donor and things like that, people make insensitive comments like, oh, well, babies are expensive, you'd have to do it on your own, and this is that and the other, are you sure that's what you really want to do? But again, then at that point in time, it was just an idea. Now, the people that I am expressing that I am actually going through a TTC journey, most of the reactions are, wow, I never knew anyone who did that, and I'd like to keep updated. Let me know how it goes. That's probably the least positive that I've received. Not saying that that response is not positive. I think it's more of a curiosity than it is a positive or negative reaction. As far as my family who knows, it's kind of like, okay. And then, when I talk to them, it's like, oh, well, what's the update on the baby making? Because, we haven't talked about that in a while. So they're interested. I think being the baby of my immediate family and being the youngest, between me and the oldest sibling is 18 years. So, and of all of my siblings, only two of us, the oldest and the youngest, do not have children. So, but the oldest is a boy. My oldest brother, he's the oldest sibling. So, he can't actually do it on his own. He needs someone to do it with. Will he have kids now? Probably not. He's in his 50s. Unless he has a really young wife. I don't know. He's not married, so I don't know. But as far as me, I think there are a lot of family, immediate family, and some close, distant family are waiting for me to show up with a husband and a baby. I can't say that everyone is expecting me to have a baby on my own. I think there are a lot of friends that I've grown up with who I've been told multiple times that they don't imagine me with a baby. And I think it's because they haven't really seen me with a partner or a man or anything like that on a regular basis. Because as I also explained in my decision video, I have not been in a serious relationship for at least 13 years. I mean, I've dated, I've had boyfriends, but not anything incredibly serious that I would even think about considering marriage with. So I think there are probably some like cousins or aunts or whatever that probably think I'm gay at this point. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just that, why doesn't she have a man? We haven't really met anybody. And I think my extended family and my immediate family really have only met one man in my life, and that didn't work out. So, I would say he's probably the only one that I would have considered marriage with. But that relationship ended a very long time ago, and I just haven't met anyone or come to that point in relationship since then. So I don't know what my family thinks, but as far as the negativity, I have received absolutely no negativity. Everything has been either positive or on the curiosity spectrum, but no negative comments. All right, next question. This is number 8. What are some crazy things you do while TTC? Nothing. I'm a very boring person. I go to work, I watch TV, and I live in a bubble under a rock. So I don't do anything crazy. What might be on the spectrum of crazy, though, might be during both my IUIs, like when I chose my donor, I have the package where I can get the donor conversation, which is a recorded conversation of my donor, so I can hear his voice. Some people might consider this crazy. I don't think this is crazy. I think this is just me trying to bond with my future child. But I listen to my donor's conversation, his recorded conversation during my IUI. So I've had both my IUIs alone, no one else in the room with me other than the doctor and the nurse. And everybody has their own techniques of what they do. Some suggest visualization. Some suggest, watching conception videos, and things like that. So what I did for my first IUI is I listened to my donor conversation, both during the IUI and during the 20-minute resting period after. For my second IUI, I thought it was a good idea to, visualize, but I'm not really good at like closing my eyes and visualizing. So what I did is I had YouTube videos of conception video prepared. So what I did is during the IUI, I listened to the donor conversation, and then during the 20 minutes, I listened to the donor conversation one more time. And actually I watched the conception video, which is pretty short. I think it's like 4 minutes. And then I listen to the donor conversation again, which I think the donor conversation is about maybe somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. So that took up the 20-minute time. So some people might think that's crazy. To me, I feel like I really love my donor, and obviously I don't know him, but I kind of love everything about the profile. And if I was choosing someone to date for marriage, he would be a candidate. So I feel like not having anyone else in the room with me, listening to his donor conversation, is sort of a way of I guess, kind of having him there with me in the experience, even though his sample is there, so it's not like he's not included. But I don't know. It's just a way that makes me a little bit closer to my donor, and that's what I do. It makes me feel so not alone in the room when I'm getting my IUIs done. Some people might think that's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. It might be on the spectrum, though. I don't know. You let me know what you think. Okay, so next question. What number child will this be for me? This will be my first child. But if we're counting four-legged children, this would be my fifth child. Well, sixth child. Because, well, no, seventh. Because, I've had many cats. I have 3 cats now. I've had 2 cats that have passed away. And 1 cat that was taken away from me while I was younger, and dropped off at SPCA. But I'm not going to talk about that story. It's a horrible childhood moment that I am not completely over. But, yeah. So I guess this would be my 7th child, if we're counting 4-legged children. But my first human baby. All right. Number 10, how many kids do I want? Since I don't have any. Even when I did not want to have children, I have said that if I had one, I had to have 2. I did not want to have a child that was an only child. So at the least 2 kids. Do I need more than 2 kids? No, I'll be perfectly happy with 2 kids. If am I willing to have more than 2? I am, but then it depends on how old I get when I find my husband, because I've not given up on that. Number 11. Have you been diagnosed with any kind of infertility? No, I have not been diagnosed with any specific kind of infertility. What medical issues, if any, do you have that might affect TTC? So these 2 questions are kind of mixed, and I don't know. So I do have a blocked fallopian tube. So I guess that's diagnosed with some kind of infertility. I don't know. These 2 questions are a bit one and the same. So I'm just going to answer them both together, and then you place them where you want to place them. So my HSD deemed that I had a completely occluded left fallopian tube, and my right tube, while I had spillage on the right tube, had some mild hydrosalpinx. So I think there's some fluid in that tube, which can present some problems with TTC. Other than that, I am obese, so I'm overweight. My BMI is over 40. And, the break that I took was an attempt to get my BMI under 40 for IVF. I'm still working on that. I'm 20 pounds down as of the making of this video. But I stopped getting on the scale, so I don't know exactly where I am right now. I'm not getting on the scale again for about another week, so we'll see. I've had some history with hypertension, although I've not been medicated for my hypertension since 2005. And I have had fibroids in the past. In fact, I've had an open abdominal myomectomy, which is a surgery to remove my fibroids, in November of 2015. So, I believe that is what's contributing to my blocked fallopian tubes, that surgery that I had to remove the fibroids. So, there you have it. Am I on any medications or treatments for infertility? I am not officially on any medications or treatments for infertility, but as I am foregoing IVF for the time being and going back to IUIs, I am trying some natural remedies. So I am now doing castor oil packs and self-fertility massage, and I am taking serapeptase in an attempt to eat up and remove some scar tissue in my fallopian tubes. Also, my acupuncturist has put me on a Chinese herb, gooey fulan. I don't know. I talked about it in a previous video. I'm going to make another video on things that I've been taking and whatnot. But, you know, she has me on CoQ10 and this herb, which the herb is to sort of keep the fibroids at bay. So far, I've been very fortunate, having been almost 2 years since my fibroid surgery. I have no indications of any new fibroids. Pardon me, since I've been TTCing and in this whole journey. So I've been very fortunate because they can grow back. Next one. 14. Do you use OPKs? If yes, how many do you keep in stock? So, yes, I have used OPKs, although they haven't really been incredibly useful to me in the TCC journey. Once I started my IUIs, only because all my IUIs have been medicated. So what that means is I can take my OPKs and that's fine. However, each of my IUIs, I've used a trigger shot. And once you take the trigger shot, you have pregnancy hormone in you. So it is very difficult to determine LH surge once you take the trigger shot. So that is pregnancy hormone and LH. So the OPKs become useless once I take the trigger shot. So it's really hard for me to pinpoint ovulation other than basal temps. Now, my RE has placed me on progesterone after each IUI. I think that's just his protocol. As far as I know, I don't have any issues with my own progesterone generation. It's not like he's tested me for it that I know of. So he just has me on the progesterone. It just is what it is. So I take that. Now, because I take the progesterone 2 days after insemination, depending on when I actually ovulate, I cannot determine an ovulation spike in my basal temp because progesterone spikes the temps. So that makes it really hard to use OPKs and basal temps. So I use them. I did buy the OPK, the Advanced Digital Clear Blue that has the 3 phases. As far as I can tell, it was accurately depicting my ovulation because my physical signs were in line. Like cervical mucus and my basal temps, they were all in line with what that was saying. So I guess it was working just fine. I did use it in one cycle before I did my first IUI, so that was my preconception cycle. I did use it another cycle after, but again, like I said, it was really hard to determine when things were once the medications get in your system. So I haven't really used it since the last 2 cycles that I've been off, since I wasn't attempting to conceive and was just losing weight. I didn't bother using them. But I think I'm going to start using it now. I did recently purchase some Wandfo, the little strips, because, well, they're cheap. And I wanted to start using those, and they also came with pregnancy tests. So as far as how many I keep, again, I've only bought the one OPK, the Clear Blue Advanced Digital. I've only bought that one that came with 20 tests. I have not exhausted those yet in all of my cycles. The Wandfo came with, I believe, 50 LH strips and 20 pregnancy tests. So I have the entire pack of that. As a matter of fact, I took my first Wandfo strip this morning. Next one. What did you usually ovulate? So my cycles have changed quite a bit over the last couple of years, thanks to acupuncture and the Chinese herbs. So I have gone from 20-day, or I should say like 32-day cycles to 25, or I should say 28 day cycles, back up to 32 day cycles. With my 32 day cycles, I have determined that I ovulate somewhere around cycle day 18 or 19. However, since being off the medicated, the two medicated IUIs, my cycles have been a little erratic. I think my body's just trying to adjust from not being on the extra hormones. So my first cycle off was a very short cycle. It was literally, I think it was like a 25-day cycle where I ovulated somewhere around cycle day 5 or 6. Really weird. The second cycle was closer to the 32, 33 days. But I think I ovulated sooner, so I think my luteal phase might have been a little longer, that cycle. Next one. Are you crazy about taking pregnancy tests? I wouldn't say that I'm crazy about taking pregnancy tests, but I am a very impatient person. And I need to know things. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what it looks like. So I do take tests to take the edge off. I've only tested out the trigger shot once, just to get an idea of how my body metabolizes it. Now that I know how soon it is out of my system, I'm not so anxious. So again, I've only had the 2 IUIs. The first IUI, I tested out the trigger shot. The second IUI, I was trying out the dollar store test, and I wanted to see how they worked. So I used those to sort of test out the trigger shot. But I think I kind of tested almost every 2 to 3 days in my first IUI. The second IUI, I think I tested like day 5 days after IUI, then maybe 7 days after IUI, and then I think I waited. Then it was like every day after 7, because I saw a video. I believe it was the Palos, and she said she had positive pregnancy test. It's like 8 days post ovulation. So I started testing it 8 days post ovulation, and every day after that. But I don't test like multiple times a day or anything like that. So it's usually just first morning urine. And I had some dollar store tests. My second IUI, so I was taking those. And if I felt like there might have been something there, then I would take the first response tests, which are the more expensive ones. But other than that, I don't think I'm crazy in taking tests. Maybe I test a little early, but I'm not like crazy. I take 1 a day, and you know, the edge is off. Usually I can go about 2 to 3 days without testing. So that pretty much took the edge off. But I think once I hit like 10 days post ovulation or IUI, then it's kind of like I want to test every day. How many home pregnancy tests do you take in one cycle? A lot. A lot. I think it just depends. You know, I don't give up until the blood test. I can't go by outflow because I'm on the progesterone, and I don't get an outflow until I stop taking progesterone. So I have to hold all my hopes off until the actual blood test. But because I test starting with 10 days post IUI, I have an idea whether the blood test will be positive or negative or not. So I'm not incredibly devastated when I'm called. And I'd rather not be devastated or surprised. You know, I think I'd be more surprised if I were getting negative tests and then the blood test came back positive. That's the surprise that I want. I don't want a negative surprise. How many tests do you really have in the cabinet? Well, as of right now, I only have the Wanfo one, so there are 20. But those are like the little strips. I don't know if, you know, how well they are, if that makes sense. I don't know. So I think I will still continue to use the first response tests. and maybe even the dollar store tests as well. The first response, I get them off of Amazon now, where I can get 3 in a pack for like $12. So I'll usually buy at least 2 packs of those, because that'll get me from cycle day 10 to cycle day 14. Let's see. How many times a day do you test? I believe I answered this already. Once a day. I don't test any more than that. I just don't feel the need to. What's the earliest DPO you started testing? Probably 7 days. 7 days post ovulation. What keeps you busy during the 2-week wait? Well, I work a lot. So that certainly does make the days go by. I do my own yard work, but I don't really do yard work during the 2-week wait. I watch TV. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. YouTube videos probably don't keep me as busy. They make me think about it even more. But, I do research and, read and try to figure out what's going on in my body at this particular time. And I get a lot of symptoms behind the progesterone and the HCG, so I'm usually researching symptoms as well. Although I try not to go too crazy about it, because I've had 2 cycles with almost completely different symptoms. My second cycle being one where I thought I was the most pregnant, and I just ended up not pregnant. It was incredibly frustrating and devastating. But now I've lost my faith in symptoms now, but I will continue to do research, but with the mindset that progesterone gives a lot of symptoms, and that's that. What are some stress relievers when TTC? Exercise. That's the only stress reliever I have, is exercise. And because I have such a heavy work week, it can be stressful, but I think the most stress-less time is, one, not really talking about what's going on with TTC during the 2-week wait. Because my first cycle, I was telling everyone who knew I was TTCing that I was going through the cycle. And that was incredibly stressful, because even though you tell people it takes two weeks to get the results, when you talk to people, all they want to know is, are you pregnant yet? Are you pregnant yet? Are you pregnant yet? And that's incredibly stressful. And then having to tell all these people that I told that I did it, that it didn't work, that was kind of stressful too. So my second IUI, I kind of did that under the radar. If people asked me, I told them. If they didn't ask me, then I didn't mention it. And that just keeps people from asking me about it when I have no answers to give them. But exercise, that is my stress reliever. Walking on a treadmill or just taking a long walk. I don't run anymore because it's not good for my hips. But my biggest stress reliever is walking and exercise. That's it. What gender are you hoping for? I'm really hoping for a little girl. I will be happy with a little boy, but I'm really hoping for a little girl. What I really hope for is multiples. 1 boy, 1 girl, 1 and done. I don't have to go through this ever again until I have a man. That is what I'm really, truly hoping for. Do I really want twins by myself? Probably not, from a financial perspective or from a fatigue perspective. But in reality, I wanted both my kids before 40. And if I'm going to have both before 40, I'd have to have them at the same time. At this point in life, my second kid would come after 40 if I only got pregnant with 1. So I would not mind 1 boy, 1 girl, or 2 girls. I would effectively stop trying to conceive by myself if I had 2 girls or 1 boy, 1 girl. Now, if I had 2 boys, then I would definitely try at least 1 more time by myself. And definitely try if I found a man, so I can get my little girl, because I really want a little girl. But I will take anything God gives me, but I really want a little girl. All right. How many pregnancy books do you have? I technically only have one pregnancy book, but I have two books related to being pregnant and having a kid. First book is What to Eat. Hopefully this isn't backwards. It's probably backwards. But What to Eat When You're Pregnant. I found this on Amazon. It's like a week by week guide to support your health and your baby's development. Like even from like your conception week on, it gives you what foods to focus on, or high in folate, that kind of thing. I like this, especially since I'm an overweight mom. The other book that I had was a suggestion of my acupuncturist, and that is, I think it's Sleep Training. I don't remember the name of the book. I will put it here. And I haven't read that book. I have it on Kindle, so I don't actually have a paper version of the book. I have it on Kindle, so I'm on my phone, so I can't look it up right now. But I will, again, put it down there. And I haven't touched that book yet, only because it's about training your baby how to sleep, I guess, from birth, and so that they can sleep well throughout the night. I'm obviously not pregnant yet, so I haven't cracked that book open. So I will crack it when I get pregnant. What themes or designs do you like for a nursery? Right now, I don't have a room for the nursery. My spare room, that would be my nursery, my nieces are living in. If they move out before my baby is born, then I guess the only theme I would think is like maybe the color on the wall. As you can see here, I have sort of this mint green on my wall here. I just happen to like this color, so I put this color in my bedroom and in my bathroom. This color isn't on in any other room in the house. It's just in here. But I've read that like the mint green is sort of like a cool, relaxing color. So I think I want to do something similar to that in the baby's room. It's a neutral color too. So if I'm to think of like decals and things like that, I don't know. I don't know if zoo animals. I don't know if I want to go with like Sesame Street, or yeah, I just haven't given it much thought. At this point, I just want to have a baby, and once I get pregnant, I'll give it some more thought. I don't have any envisions there on like color scheme or anything other than like the mint green walls. That's the only thing. Do you plan to do pregnancy vlogs when you conceive? Absolutely. Only because I started my vlogging as a video journal. I've tried to do journals in the past, the writing kind. I just never keep up with them because I'm long-winded and it's a lot of writing and my hand hurts. And I don't do a lot of writing in general because, well, I mean, I'm a computer girl, so I do a lot of typing. But I don't type like a regular person either, so that gets, it's just easier for me to journal with videos. And I want to keep up my experience and my feelings about this process and getting my baby. I want to keep all that up so that my baby can watch and see how much they were loved before they were even a twinkle in the eye or conceived, and just how I felt during my pregnancy, and just keep these videos. So yes, I will continue to vlog. All right, and what have you bought for your future baby? I have not bought anything for my future baby. I will say this though. I talked about my sister and her passing away last year. She did leave quite a bit for her daughter, but she left a little provisions for me, my brother, and my mother as well. And it's not a lot, but it's her contribution to us. So what I've decided to do is I have a little bank account, and the money that I'm getting from my sister, in order to get the most out of it, I am getting it in a stipend that goes from, now basically up until 2024. So what I am doing with that money is I am depositing that money into an account that is for future baby. I am not touching that money. It is a small amount of money every month. So it's, it doesn't matter what it's for. It's from my sister, and we talked about me going through this, and me having a baby for some time. And, even though she left it for me, I feel like I want that to be her contribution, to my baby. So that's what I'm doing with that money. That money is going into an account, and it's not being touched for any other purpose other than baby. And as of right now, it just hasn't been touched at all because I haven't bought anything for baby. My TTC journey is for me. It's not for baby. So that's all my money and all my sister's money that she's given to me through that is going for baby. So I guess in that respect, I am putting money away, but it's not really anything that I'm buying. Do you have a birth plan? I don't have an official birth plan. However, since I've had the open abdominal fibroid surgery, I think I have prepared myself for a scheduled C-section. I have no strong will to give birth vaginally. I'm okay if I cannot give birth vaginally. I may still be able to give birth vaginally. I just don't know. I haven't asked the doctor that question because it is a question that's on my list, but I just feel like I gotta get past the first hurdle of getting pregnant first before I can start asking the what happens after I'm pregnant questions. So I haven't asked him if I will be able to do that or not. But I am of the mindset that I will most likely have a scheduled C-section. And, but even if I do have to go through labor, I have no delusions of trying to have a natural birth, even though I do have a high pain tolerance. Epidural, epidural, epidural. Like, epidural. Let's do that. For sure. I don't need to be in unnecessary pain. Why? Let's just do the epidural and be done with it. That's what it is. Just get the baby out and start enjoying baby. I don't want to be in pain. Just not. And big heads run in the family. I don't want an episiotomy or any rips either. So, there. Who would you like to do this tag? I would say anyone who's seen this tag, I would like you to do it. Just because it's fun. And because if you're chronicling your journey, I think as women, as we go through things, we often change our mind. And answering these questions now and then answering these questions later when we actually get baby, I think would be an interesting thing. So for me, I'm answering the questions now prior to getting baby. And then after I give birth, or maybe after I'm through the woods with baby, I might come back and answer these questions again to see how I feel about them, and compare answers. We'll see. All right, so that was 29 questions. That's 29 answers. And this has been a very long video, my longest one yet. So I do want to thank you for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, again, I know I'm long-winded, so all my videos are long. But thank you to all my subscribers, and thank you for everyone supporting me. And if you haven't done this tag yet and you have a channel, by all means, do it and let me know so I can come watch. Hopefully I'm already subscribed to you, but if you're new and I'm not subscribed to you, and you want to let me know, let me know. All right, guys. Thank you again. All the baby dust to everyone. TTC. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Bye.